Let me take it off mute. Let's do that again. Okay, so we're back. So welcome back to this Wednesday's live stream. Still getting used to the live thing, so sorry about the on mute there. Okay. So the first thing we're going to look at, again, I'm always mentioning about patching, and I said I'd cover some cybersecurity stuff when we're doing this. There's more Fortinet and Vultr vulnerabilities out, so you'll make sure you want to patch them. I seem to be mentioning both them names every single week, so I'm not going to go through the actual vulnerability details. Just make sure you patched again. I don't know if it's a different one from last week or whatever, but it seems to be an issue. Ivanti, yeah, they've had more holes in a tea strainer recently. Same with Fortinet. Right, so one of the I might as well bring this up while I'm here. Let me switch this over. Let me just change this to stream and switch it over to this screen. Let's get this right. There's me with monitor. There I am. Transition. Okay. TeamViewer vulnerability in macOS client. So you're gonna CVE 2024-1933 specifically affects versions of TeamViewer before 15.52. The vulnerability arises from how TeamViewer client before 15.52 for macOS handled symbolic links. An attacker with primary access to the system could exploit this to escalate the privileges. So if you're running TeamViewer for Mac, I mean, that's not a recent version, I don't think, so you might want to check that you're on a later version other than 15.52. I just saw that come up briefly, so I figured I'd take a look at that. Let me just put me back a minute while I find this that I wanted to look at. Okay, TrueNAS. I covered this last week and said if you're using TrueNAS Core, transition this back again. If you're using TrueNAS Core, you're probably going to want to update to Scale. So when I did last week's live stream, which was the 20th, I believe, on the 26th, so it was the 20th. This post came out on March the 20th, so it was the same date. I don't know if it was anything to do with me mentioning it on the stream. I did tag a few people into it. So basically, this is an update regarding TrueNAS Core 13.3 plans. And basically, TrueNAS Core 13.3 is coming soon. So they've changed the version names of it. So they've changed it to 13.3 to coincide with the release of FreeBSD 13.3. So you're not going mod there, you've not missed anything. And it includes an update to OpenZFS. SAMP has been updated, updates to smart network monitoring tools and others. So just various bug fixes. Excuse me, a couple of packages have been updated, but there's nothing major other than the obviously 13.3. So at least it's on a supported version of FreeBSD. Right, so what I wanted to dive into, which is what I discussed last week. We'll scroll down to the bottom of this somewhere. TrueNAS and FreeBSD continue. There's this statement here: TrueNAS Core hasn't been deprecated, and 13.3 is planned to start making a showing in Q2. It will be based upon FreeBSD version 13.3 and will provide a way to keep running jails and upstream packages for some time to come. So it's still rock solid, it is, and FreeBSD 13.3 is covered up until, let me have a look. Releases. So 13.3 release date, 5th of March. And it'll be supported until, I think it's 2025. So you've got some time on it. But with this statement that they made, somebody reached out to me and told me to take this with a pinch of salt because the actual head developer has kind of contradicted this, which is what I mentioned last week. But he's contradicted this, saying that there'll be no plans for a version of TrueNAS based on FreeBSD 14. So, yeah, you're safe for the time being. I'm running 13.3. Would I recommend that you upgrade to Scale? Let's say 13.3, you're good to 2025, I think it is. I'll double check that in a minute. But yeah, it's probably, the writing's on the wall by the looks of it, so it's probably a good idea to upgrade to it. Somebody's suggested there's some other options available, such as using Sigma NAS. It's not really, it works, but it's not really an option as a replacement for TrueNAS. It's just nowhere near as many features. So I wanted to bring that back up again. Just made the wrong screen full size. Something else to bring up. Free VPNs on the Android store are being used as open proxies. So if you're running any of these VPNs, Light VPN, Anim's Keyboard, Blazestride, Blade VPN, any of this, I'll leave the links to this below. I'll have to update the notes after this. But basically, any of these VPNs, if you're using them, you need to stop, because it just opens your system to a proxy. Let's say you might want to look into that. I just thought I'd mention that because that was something else I've recently just seen. What was I looking at? So OPNsense 24.1.4 has been released. So this was released on the March the 20th. It was 02:37, so 2:37 p.m. I didn't notice it had actually been released when I did the last live stream. So the Suricata and Unbound packages have been updated to the latest versions. There's a new feature with support for dynamic DNS for your virtual tunnel interface connections. That's been added. So it should be pretty safe to upgrade to this. That's really small. Sorry about that. For 24.7, we're currently working on a new DHCP relay replacement due to the problems with what's been happening with that. They're rewriting a trust section in the MVC, so in the web interface, and there's a new dashboard implementation planned. So I'm not going to walk through the whole patch notes here. They're available online, so I'll try and if I remember, leave these in. But actually, we've got an OPNsense system here. I'll make this full screen. System firmware updates. So what version are we on? This is 24.1.3 that we're on. So sorry, Catherine Unbound, we've just addressed that. Close that. Plugins. Where is it? Packages. I didn't realize I'd already updated this system. Actually, I thought I was going to do it live. there's plenty of stuff to do, so we'll go ahead and update that. So we can see Unbound's been upgraded to 1.19.3, which does fix a couple of things, and Suricata's from 7.03 to 7.04. So we'll go ahead and update that. We can leave that going while it does that, just to make sure there's no issues. Update on Wednesday, March the 6th. Okay, so we'll just let that go. We'll come back and check on that. What was that? That was just the FreeBSD release notes, wasn't it? When was that? FreeBSD end of life dates. Can't remember the page for it. Where is that? I should know this by now. I'll find that in a minute. So 13.3 release, which was March the 5th. So 13.4 release plus 3 months. Is going to be the expected end of life. So that's still supported at the moment. Excuse me. So where was that? So 13.4 release plus 3 months. Seems to be taking a while. That's it. No, if it's got, yeah, it should have. So we've covered that. Speaking of pfSense, 24.03. So this is pfSense Plus. 24.03 introduces some nice changes to the way the update system works. Updating firewalls remotely is always a fingers crossed moment, and hope that there's no problems when you do that. So Netgate have changed the way that this works in the pfSense Plus editions, and it actually says one of the anxiety-inducing moments in previous updates is a time when the system is offline, rebuilding itself and rebooting with the new software. So unexpected problems can occur, and if you're doing this remotely and it doesn't reboot, you've got problems. So the new update system will first create a snapshot of the current running environment. It then downloads and installs a software update onto that snapshot. So it's if that's successful, then it'll reboot. Now, when it creates a snapshot of the system, if for whatever reason there's problems with it, it'll carry on. It won't reboot into the system that's not working. It will basically just carry on running as it is, and then inform you that you need to reboot. So at least it gives you some time to get to site to deal with it. So that's a really nice feature being introduced there by Netgate. But that is the pfSense Plus version. So boot environments are not fully supported on the community edition. So default password control, that's just making sure that you change the default password when you install it. So that's probably not going to affect anybody, because I'm going to say should have changed the admin password, but yeah, they're forcing you to change the admin password. So when it prompted you to enter the new password, you could just put the default password back in. Now they're absolutely 100% making sure that you change it. The enhanced update process using ZFS snapshots is what we've just discussed. I'll keep doing this, make it bigger for you. So latest release introduces significant improvements to software update. So that's good. Packet data flow export. That's been added. Gateway recovery. Another change is enhanced gateway recovery process with options to reset connections made for a backup gateway while the primary gateway is offline. This will allow connection fallback to the primary gateway after downtime, which can be useful for metered links. State policy default change. So for increased security, the default state policy in pfSense Plus 24.3 is changing from floating states to interface bound states. VPN capability upgrade. So excited to announce 2 major upgrades. I'm reading these notes as if you're not aware of these are available. I'm reading them for the first time. So 2 major upgrades: mobile group pools and performance enhancements. With the introduction of mobile group pools, users can access a dedicated tab to configure additional address pools if necessary, a DNS server, so beneficial for larger organizations. This feature enables organizations to utilize group authentication to define extra address pools for specific groups. Additionally, reducing processing overhead by updating the IPsec kernel module. It's the latest upstream version of 1.5, which includes updates for CPUs, installing the upgrade. So I think this is still in beta, so yeah, call for testing. So if you want to test this out, you can do. As always, I wouldn't test them out in a live environment. Done that. We've covered the TrueNAS core. I don't know what that's for us. It's done. Okay. Packages. Can ignore that. Looks like it's done. I don't know why it didn't. Updated on Wednesday the 27th of March, so that went swimmingly. So no issues there. I am doing some more videos on OPNsense. I did one on pfSense, which was how to set up site-to-site VPNs using WireGuard. Somebody's requested the same thing on OPNsense, so yeah, why not? I can cover that. I'll just take a look what else I had, if anything. There was a couple of vulnerabilities in Chrome and Firefox, I believe. So there's loads of posts all over the internet about you should upgrade. Now, most browsers update when they check for updates on launch and update themselves. But you might just want to make sure that you're on the latest versions of Chrome, Edge, on Firefox. So there was an issue with let me get that back. Get off. Microsoft Edge flaw lets hackers silently install malicious extensions. So yeah, make sure Edge is up to date. So this is CVE 2024-26246. So it should update itself when you launch it. So close all tabs and relaunch the browser, and it should just update itself. But just force and make sure that all your browsers are up to date. I mean, that's kind of general behavior, just to make sure everything is up to date. What time are we on? Got to be conscious of the time. I know the last one went a bit quick, and this one will as well, because I've got somewhere to be shortly. Where's my phone? Oh, there was something else I wanted to bring up. Yeah, the Suricata update in OPNsense. So if you haven't updated OPNsense to 24.1.3, is that what I said? No, 24. Ignore me. Oh, it's 24.1.4. Sorry. The Suricata update, it addresses the CVE in Suricata itself, as well as one in the libHTTP library. So you definitely want to make sure that you upgrade to the latest version of OPNsense, say 24.1.4. It's a fairly minor upgrade, but it does address some CVE concerns. That's pretty much all I had on my notes. UniFi, let's mention that. Give me 1 second while I find this. You're going to want to update your UniFi controller. Because vulnerabilities were found in that, if I remember correctly. Yes. Let me just make this a bit bigger because I keep having them really small. Transition this in. Make this a bit bigger still. So security, this is Netgate's website itself. Ubiquiti's website itself. So this was released 2 days ago. Security Advisory, Bulletin 038, published on the 25th of March 2024. So command injection vulnerability has been found in the self-hosted UniFi Network server, the Linux version, with UniFi Network application of versions 8.0.28 and earlier, which allows a malicious actor with UniFi Network application administrator credentials to escalate root privileges. So, I mean, yeah, you need administration credentials to do this, but it's definitely worth updating. So the mitigation is to update the UniFi Network application to version 8.1.113 or later. And it received a base score of 9.1, critical. So, yeah, make sure you update your UniFi controllers if you're running them. Send me back to there. Is this chat thing working, or is it just really quiet? Sticker. I think that was pretty much all I wanted to bring up. So there's a few things that you need to patch there. Yeah, I think. So I'm just browsing through my notes. There was 4 people watching. Let me just make sure this is working. I'm using, mentioned this before, the plugin is a Google Chrome extension that I'm using to bring this up. The bulletin forums were breached, and all that information is available on the dark web. But yeah, that's pretty much all I had in my notes for this week. It's been a pretty hectic week as far as things go. I did a video previously on that UniFi 16 port switch. I had to go out and plug that in because somebody had not plugged something in properly. I'm gonna quick browse through these. I really don't think there's anything urgent that needs to be brought up. What's this one here? I've just lost it. Where's that gone? 27th of March. I'm just trying to... Let me show you this. Keep forgetting to hit this transition button when I'm browsing through and nosing at things. 17,000 plus Microsoft Exchange servers vulnerable to multiple critical vulnerabilities. If you're running Exchange on premise at this point, Microsoft have kind of already made it clear that they're not interested in people running their own Exchange servers. So unless operators enable extended protection since August 2022, systems will be vulnerable. Scope of the vulnerability. At least 37% of all Exchange servers accessible from the internet in Germany are vulnerable. What is that vulnerability? Oh, hundreds have covered it. No, it's not. Why is that just going on? Is that a sponsored link? It was. I'm just trying to see what this is. Microsoft Exchange server. Privilege escalation vulnerability. Yeah, hosting your own Exchange servers at this point is pretty much a stupid thing to do. Microsoft just kind of release patches for them if and when they want. I'm going to transition this back in. So I know this was a short one. I'll keep doing these. We've got no more participation in the chat as yet, so I'm going to wrap it up and call it a day here because I say I do have somewhere I need to be. So yeah, keep an eye out for the new videos that are coming this week. What's that? ZFS device fault. That's alright, it's on my test server. Yeah, so with that, keep an eye out for the new OPNsense videos coming out. So I'm going to be covering, as I say, the WireGuard site-to-site, and on both OPNsense and pfSense. I plan on doing some high availability videos, showing you how to use CARP for using like 2 pfSense or OPNsense devices in a high availability configuration. So keep an eye out for them. And with that, thanks for those that did turn up. Let me just, did that actually work? This chat thing still bothers me. Yeah, we're good. Yeah. So thank you for those that turned up. Hopefully we'll get some more participation in chat as we keep doing these. But thanks for watching. Say, tune in for more videos and I'll see you on Wednesday. And the stop button. Where's OBS?